If you can't deliver millions of tons to Earth orbit, you can't get the millions of tons that you need to the Moon and Mars to make us a sustainably multi-planet species.
Yeah, to deliver millions of tons to Earth orbit and beyond, SpaceX and Elon are doing something incredible to make that happen, that is, expansion. From approximately 100 acres in 2014 to the city's footprint of approximately 900 to 1,100 acres in 2025 to 2026, an increase of about 9 to 11 times, and if the 2026 annexation plan succeeds, it could reach approximately 8,000 acres, an increase of about 80 times compared to 2014. That's not all. SpaceX is keeping bigger and bigger. You know, all the expansion is more important than you think, and it's not what we see on the paper or the picture. Find out everything about all the SpaceX's expansion and why it's so important in today's episode.
First of all, on August 13th, SpaceX was reported to be nearing a deal to acquire or take control of roughly 130,000 acres of coastal marshland in Louisiana. Hundreds of miles east in Florida, the company is pushing ahead with a roughly $1.8 billion Starship expansion around its Roberts Road facilities. And now SpaceX has filed plans for something people have been asking about for years, a dedicated Starship test site a few miles from Roberts Road called Project Ignition. 3 separate stories, 3 construction projects that look unrelated. Put them next to each other, though, and they stop looking like real estate and start looking like a machine. One built to turn Starship from a rocket that launches occasionally into a system that launches again and again from multiple locations at a rate this industry has never had to handle. And the strangest piece of it is sitting in Louisiana. The land runs about 18 miles along the Gulf Coast near Pecan Island in Vermilion Parish, roughly 45 miles southwest of Lafayette. Around 130,000 acres, about 200 square miles of grass, water, and mud. No launch pad out there, no factory, no construction of any kind. A rocket company buying land isn't strange by itself. The size is. A Starship launch complex would use a small fraction of 200 square miles. So the obvious question is what SpaceX would want with the other 90-something%. The answer is probably the one thing you can't build later. Distance. Every major American spaceport is boxed in by something. Neighborhoods, highways, protected land, a shipping channel, other launch providers. Starbase in South Texas sits between a wildlife refuge and a public beach. That's a permanent constraint on a vehicle the size of Starship, which puts more energy off the pad than anything else flying today. Out on the Louisiana coast, you could drop a launch complex in the middle and still have thousands of acres of nothing in every direction. The location does a couple of other things, too. It sits on the Gulf and near the intracoastal waterway, which makes barge transport a lot simpler, and Starship hardware is far too big to move casually down a highway. It's also close to major natural gas infrastructure, including the Henry Hub area. That last detail matters more than it sounds. Starship doesn't burn ordinary rocket fuel. It runs on liquid methane and liquid oxygen. And at the flight rates SpaceX is talking about, propellant stops being a logistics problem and becomes an industrial one. You're not trucking in tankers a few times a month. You're running something closer to a small plant that never shuts off. Sitting next to the gas supply isn't a nice bonus. It's the difference between feasible and miserable. Now the important caveat, Louisiana has not been announced as a Starship launch site. No permit, no filing, no ribbon cutting. This is reporting, not confirmation, and it could still turn out to be something else entirely. So, do you think Louisiana ends up being the 3rd Starship launch site? Yes or no? Just drop the answer in the comments. I want to see which way this splits before the permits show up. But SpaceX has already told us why it would be shopping for land like this. Earlier this year, the company said it intends to fly Starship a lot, potentially thousands of times per year, and that reaching that kind of cadence would require launching from many different locations. Read the Louisiana story through that statement and it changes shape. It's probably not a hunt for one perfect new pad. It looks more like the ground floor of a 3rd Starship cluster operating alongside Texas and Florida. Because Starbase has a problem no amount of engineering can fix: geography. The FAA has authorized up to 25 Starship and Super Heavy orbital launches per year from Boca Chica. That's a huge jump from the old limit of 5. It's also nowhere near what SpaceX is describing. If the long-term target is hundreds of flights a year, one site can't carry the program. Not because the rocket isn't ready, but because the neighborhood isn't infinite. And that's exactly where Florida comes in. Florida isn't just getting another Starship pad. SpaceX is building an industrial base on the Space Coast, at least $1.8 billion committed, with an estimated 600 new full-time jobs by 2030. The centerpiece is the Gigabay at Roberts Road, a Starship integration facility about 380 feet tall with roughly 815,000 square feet of floor space. That square footage tells you what SpaceX is actually building. A launch pad launches a rocket. A building that size processes a fleet. For most of spaceflight history, the model has been build the rocket somewhere, ship it to a launch site, prepare it over a long campaign, launch it, and start over. SpaceX is trying to collapse that loop. Build, test, roll to the pad, launch, recover, inspect, refurbish, put it back in line. Every mile between those steps is time you don't get back, which is why the Gigabay isn't sitting in Texas. It's going up beside the pads. Which brings us to Project Ignition. The plans describe a facility a few miles northwest of Roberts Road, built for cryogenic testing, spin prime operations, and static fires. And the layout is the interesting part: what appear to be 2 Starship static fire stands, each with its own set of redundant support systems, in front of an open concrete pad with a deluge collection pit at the end. 2 stands, not 1. Texas already has a version of it, Massey's Outpost, a couple of miles down the road from Starbase, where SpaceX runs cryo and structural testing and static fire ships without tying up a launch pad. But Ignition isn't a copy. Massey's also has stands for test tanks, the throwaway articles SpaceX pressurizes until something breaks. Those don't show up in the Florida plans, and the absence says something. The research and development stays in Texas. Florida is getting the hardware you need to fly Starships, not the hardware you need to experiment on them. Texas invents Starship. Florida operates it. On the surface, all of this is just a test stand. It isn't. Right now, testing a Starship means occupying the same hardware you need to launch a Starship. Same pads, same tanks, same crews. Every cryo test and every static fire is time the pad isn't available for flight. Picture an airport where every plane had to taxi onto the only runway to run its engine checks before takeoff. At 4 flights a day, fine. At 40, the runway isn't a runway anymore. It's a queue. Project Ignition opens a second lane. The repetitive testing moves to a dedicated site sitting right next to production, and the pads go back to doing the one thing only they can do: launch and recover vehicles. And Florida needs that separation more than Texas does. At Starbase, the factory and the pads are a short drive apart. At the Cape, Roberts Road to the launch complexes is a serious haul, so every trip a Starship takes just to prove its systems work is a trip that costs real time. That's not a rocket decision, that's a throughput decision. It's the kind of thing you build when you've already decided the flight rate is going way up. So look at Florida as a whole now. The Gigabay handles the industrial side, Project Ignition handles testing, LC-39A and SLC-37 handle launch. That's not a remote outpost, that's a complete Starship operating base. The FAA's environmental decision allows up to 44 Starship launches per year from LC-39A. The SLC-37 plan allows up to 76. Add them together and Florida alone is cleared for as many as 120 Starship launches a year, one roughly every 3 days. For scale, Florida's Space Coast set a record in 2025 with 109 orbital launches. That's every company, every pad, all year. Starship's approved ceiling in Florida is higher than what the busiest launch range on Earth managed with everything it had. That number is going to get tested over the next couple of years, and we'll be tracking every step of it. So if you want to see whether SpaceX actually hits it, hit subscribe. It genuinely helps. If Texas is the only place Starship can fly, then every Texas problem becomes a Starship problem. One bad month in one location stalls the entire program. Spread across Texas, Florida, and eventually somewhere like Louisiana, that stops being true. Multiple locations feeding one reusable fleet. Framed that way, the launch rate targets stop sounding absurd. SpaceX doesn't need 100 Starships parked in a field. It needs a pipeline that can cycle them. And there's already a customer standing in line. SpaceX says its next-generation Starlink satellites offer around 10 times the capability of the current ones, and these aren't paper satellites anymore, since the first version 3 batch went up on Flight 13. The company wants roughly 1,000 of them deployed by the end of the second quarter of 2027. If that takes something like 25 Starship flights, SpaceX needs to average a launch about every 2 weeks for one satellite campaign. Then add everything else Starship is supposed to do: tankers, cargo, crew, and the moon. NASA's Inspector General has noted that the Artemis architecture depends on a Starship propellant depot in low Earth orbit, filled by more than 10 tanker flights before the lunar lander can head anywhere. Sit with that for a second. A single moon landing needs more Starship launches than most rockets fly in a year. You can't treat a launch like a special event when 11 of them add up to one mission. You need a pipeline. And that's what all this construction actually is. So no, none of this is guaranteed to unfold the way SpaceX draws it, but the direction is hard to miss. A few years ago, Starship was a giant experimental rocket flying out of one corner of South Texas. Today it has an industrial complex going up in Florida, a dedicated test site on the way, launch capacity approved in the triple digits, and possibly a third home on the Gulf Coast. Which quietly changes the question we should be asking. It's no longer, can SpaceX build Starship? They've built plenty of them. It's, can SpaceX build enough ground around Starship to keep it flying? Because reuse only matters once it becomes routine. And routine isn't a rocket problem. It's a factory pad, test stand, and propellant problem. If SpaceX manages to link Texas, Florida, and whatever Louisiana becomes into a single high-cadence network, Starship stops being the world's biggest rocket and starts being something less dramatic and far more disruptive: infrastructure. The kind of thing Starlink schedules around, NASA plans around, and every other launch provider has to answer to. The next signals to watch are small and specific: permit filings in Vermilion Parish, concrete at Project Ignition, and how fast Starship actually turns around between flights, because that number is the one that tells you whether any of this is working.